The guru is live with Mountaintop Chats.
Wow, we have so much going on today. Well, this last week, the news just keeps stacking up on the desk. I've got stacks of news stuff going on for real estate so high. I mean, we'll never get to it all today. But nevertheless, I want to start off with talking about cell phones and the mobile technology. We all have them. There is nothing really more techy than real estate. You wouldn't think that real estate would be this techie, but we are in a techie part. We're in such a techie industry. It's absolutely incredible. So the new thing out with the cell phone, and by the way, there is an article on this on Inman if you want to take a look at it, but there's all kinds of news about cell phones going on over the last few years. It's just mounting up to where we're at today. And the search for homes now has become even hotter with looking for signal strength. So people are taking their mobile device with them and looking for what kind of coverage. And if there's not enough coverage, they're saying they don't even want to make an offer on a home. They actually want a reasonable amount of cellular mobile coverage. And I believe it's because our jobs have become where we go back and forth. We have home offices. We have all kinds of things like this now. And it's so important that we have coverage to our cell phone. Now, it's hard to imagine in metro areas people who don't have much coverage. However, even I live out in an area that today we're having techie problems. We had Xfinity coming out, putting in a new line for us because we are dependent upon a line feeding the house, because in the area out here, we don't have much coverage naturally from a satellite. There is some, but it's very weak. So when people are looking for a home and trying to put together this kind of coverage, that is a problem right now. That is actually impacting home sales if there were any home sales out there to impact. We have such low inventory right now. There are so many people looking at the homes that are for sale that I think it's difficult to see what impact this is actually making, even though the impact exists. When we start having a time that we are having more listings, and that time, that day will come. It's just not going to happen for a while yet. But when that happens, we're going to see the impact of things like low cellular coverage in those areas and find out exactly what kind of impact that is. Right now, difficult to gauge. Another huge piece of news going on right now is we have a lot of relocations going on. I mean, of the people actually moving, the ones that are moving are often relocating for jobs or because they have a home business that they've decided they can do from, obviously, their home, and they have decided to move away. Now, the initial thought was that this is going to have a huge impact on local areas because people would be able to move to the destination of their choice and work from their destination. That statistically is not happening. What's actually happening is that 41, get this number is just out of this world. 41% of the people that are relocating within 50 miles. 36%, almost the total amount of the 41, 36% are relocating within 5 miles. They're not moving away. They're simply relocating to a more desirable area within the area they already live. Now, this is huge news. This is something we're going to be tracking over time because this news, we all thought that people would be moving, close to Disneyland or wherever their area of choice is. But that is not what's been happening. People are just simply relocating to something maybe a little more remote where they're currently at, things like this. So really a different thought process than what we thought initially would happen. Relocations to other areas outside of where they're at, simply not what's happening. Okay, news of the local here in Oregon, the extremely local news. This week, we have the Oregon State Governance Convention going on in Salem, Oregon. Now, tis the season for lots of states to be having their governance conventions. So around and about this period of time, they start looking at governance conventions where they're bringing in their new state president and other directors. Things like this are happening, as well as taking a look at what's happening legislatively. So that is news going on of this week right now. Talk about exactly now. But another announcement real quick here is I announced it last week, but I am so excited about this particular conference. And Karen, you and I went to it a couple years ago. The IOI, that's the Innovation Conference by the NAR. Get all the alphabet soup out there, So the IOI show or convention is in Los Angeles this year. And there's still time to prep for this show. It's on September 28 and 29 in Los Angeles.
Of course, it's it's in the month of September. It seems like everything happens in the month of September.
It does. Unfortunately, everything seems to happen in the month of September. So the IOI convention, though, is exciting. If you want to go to an exciting convention, is really see what's happening technologically and cutting edge in our industry. The IOI convention is the one to go to. If you are of the type like I am, I love technology and I love to be on the bleeding edge of things. Well, this is definitely the one to go to. Well, quick announcement. We are in April now. So April has broken. We're already on the 5th of the month. Well, looking back at March now, March was the 121st. We had 120 in February. Now we had the 121st month of constant equity increase for the United States in real estate. That is just astounding. This is, of course, historically record-breaking. We've never had it sustained this long. This is absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know how long it's going to go, although I do think it's going to continue throughout this year. Now, I'm in a little bit of a hurry because I want to get to our guest. I am so excited about our guest today. Her name is Audrey Wilford. She's a real estate agent, broker, and very exciting. She started the industry a few years ago, and we are going to learn all about Audrey right after this.
So, Rod, what does it mean? 7 minutes to a new career.
Well, in 7 minutes, we can have a cup of coffee, we can talk career goals, and how we're going to help you make the biggest career move in your life.
That's right. There's a lot of things that Mountain Hood Realty has to offer, and Rod is a ball of energy.
I love the career, and I want to share with you my passion for building your business bigger than you ever thought it could be.
Come spend 7 minutes with us. We look forward to it.
Talk to you soon.
So the guru is back and will be joining us with Audrey Wilford.
Audrey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for carving out some time for us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Audrey, I'm anxious to chat with you about everything, but I want to start off with, of course, you are a real estate broker in Oregon, putting that career together and doing a great job of it, obviously. But I want to talk about before you became a realtor, what did you do before a realtor? Let's talk about what led you to this choice. What were you before?
Yeah, so before I did a lot of office work, store managers, reception, lots of customer service. I was still, early 20s and kind of figuring it out. And real estate has been in my family. My grandpa actually owned a brokerage, Emerald Realty, out on the coast.
And wasn't that Emerald Real Estate, which is still there, right?
Yeah, it's still there. Mm-hmm.
It's right there on Highway 20, right before you get to 101 in Newport.
Wow. I mean, it's like in your DNA.
Yep. My aunts and it's all in the family. So I definitely have it embedded in me a little bit.
So the office, your grandfather's office, was in Newport. So did he sell it, or is there a reason why you're in Portland instead of on the coast?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really, the coast is a little slow moving for me. So I think Portland was more of a hub for me. But he did sell it to one of his really good friends, and she is amazing and worked for him the entire time. So just kind of passed it along. Yeah.
So once upon a time, you decided to actually, I mean, we're not born licensed. So you decided to go for it and get your license. What made you come to that? I mean, it's in your DNA, I get it, but you had to actually make the choice. What brought you to that choice?
Well, I think, the desire of wanting to be able to afford a house on my own with my fiance, and really kind of choosing a career path, and also being able to make my own schedule for the most part. Your clients kind of make your schedule for you, but being able to have a little bit more of a work from home kind of vibe, and not having to show up to an office 9 to 5 and do the same mundane task. So, it's always something new. It's always a different scenario with every transaction. It's always different. So it keeps you on your toes.
I'm going to pick right back up here about this mundane task thing, but you mentioned a key word. I got to go back because you said the word fiance. So do you have bling on your finger?
Yes, I do have it on my finger.
That just means she's not mad at him today.
Not mad at him today. So you're still engaged.
Yep.
And do you want to announce the date, or you?
We don't have one. We're, kind of anti-wedding at this point. Just, it's so much work. We might just elope at the courthouse.
That sounds like a great idea. I'm kind of anti-wedding too, because our son's trying to get married after about 15 years. And I keep saying, why? Just go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys stop. This has got the romantic part of me is wanting this to happen. I love the romance of the wedding and getting together, and does it have to be the guru that's for the romance part?
Well, if you're buying Rod, then I'll do it.
I'll tell you what, we'll throw you a party in the parking lot. All right, back over to real estate. And you're talking about the mundane tasks that you didn't want to be part of, but so real estate to you is more exciting than that.
Yeah. I mean, you can have 30 buyers, and every single one has a different scenario. Every single person has a different story. Everybody likes different characters in a house. Something that I like doesn't necessarily mean, my 80-year-old client is going to like that. So, there's something for everyone, and it's really fun to match up a house with a person and make that dream come true for them. So
it sounds, I'm going to interrupt right here, because it sounds like you have learned how to avoid the landmines. You were just saying that, your clients don't necessarily like what you like, but I know just from experience that the clients are forever asking, would you buy this house? What do you think about this house? How do you address those type of questions?
Well, I mean, for example, I have clients who are helping their son purchase a home, and their son is my age, and they're a little bit older, like my parents' age, and there's certain things that they don't like that their son likes that I kind of have a common interest in. So the open concept, for instance, they're not really, they don't understand it. They like having a separate room for every occasion, like a dining room and a living room and, having it all separate. Whereas, I think the younger generations are more into the open concept and, being able to cook in the kitchen and see the kids playing in the living room and have eyes on everything. So
isn't it interesting how these concepts of home design really have come full circle? Lots of years ago, 100 years ago, the older homes did have a lot of these open concepts because they were much smaller. One room homes. Yeah, exactly. If you look at Elfries Alley in Philadelphia, the little one room homes, the oldest residential street in America, I believe it's Elfries Alley. Someone can correct me on this. Anyway, so now, or then later, it became what I call the character homes, and that is a room for everything. The kitchen had a room, and the dining room had a room, and a room for everything. And now it's coming back around. So, what do you prefer? What kind of style of home do you prefer, Audrey?
I do like the open concept. I kind of like ranch homes. So it's usually one that's redone. Ranch homes that were built in, like the 50s, 60s, 70s had that, more closed concept. But as people are buying them and redoing them and doing renovations, they're making them into that open concept. And I really like that.
So do you find it difficult to advise for someone that likes a different kind of home than you?
No, not at all. I mean, I totally understand that people like different things, and I'm not looking for myself. So It's, tell me what you like and I'll find it.
So there was a time period, I think it was about a year ago, you became like the queen of Estacada.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It seemed like everything you were listing or showing was out in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an area that you're focusing on now, or is Estacada still the place to be?
I mean, I wish. The inventory is just so low over there that it's impossible
It is really low
to find anything. So yeah, every time I look and, prospects, people don't want to move out of there because that's where people want to move to. And it's really, honestly, like maybe 1 to 3 houses on a month out there. So it's really slim picking. So yeah, I've kind of creeped more into the Gresham area. That's where a lot of my buyers are looking, and like Sandy.
Yeah.
So they say that great real estate agents over time develop a niche, not always a niche of an area, but a niche of a clientele.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see yourself headed towards a niche?
I think I'm still a little new to really narrow it down. I haven't really been able to explore every option, and I mean, I don't think so yet, but I really enjoyed just helping people find the house that's right for them. So
for first-time buyers, veterans, relocation, you're kind of doing it all right now.
Yeah. I've had a little taste of mostly everything. So
I've got to ask you, because you're still only a few years in the business.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone your age thinking about coming to this business?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had a few friends that, saw me doing the real estate and being pretty successful with it. And it's a lot of work, it's not going to just come to you.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah, I would recommend, going to a smaller brokerage like I did, and, getting a little bit more attention from the people who have a lot more experience, and, the nice, the better known brokerages.
Yeah.
Are,
so you're not just a number.
Right. So you're going to get some leads and you're gonna, have a little bit more attention towards your business directly, and a little bit more mentorship, in my opinion. So that's what I would say, I think.
Well, we certainly appreciate it because you have that fun little spark, and it's neat having you come to the office, even though you don't necessarily want to come. And as the principal broker at the office that you're working at, it's just so wonderful to have a variety of ideas, and you bring in your own ideas, and then when we get clients that walk in the door or call us, we keep you in mind as well as a few of the others, and we try to match the client's personalities or their needs with an interest that you might have. So one of the things you haven't mentioned, but I know that you like to do a little bit of snowboarding and doing playing in the snow a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So we get somebody that says, hey, do you know anything about mountain retreats, or do you have any ideas of things we can do? You're one of the agents I think about, as far as referring them to, so that at least you can start off a conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So, Audrey, tell me about when we have a meeting. I know this. You have a cat.
Yes.
He's taped to the wall today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my cat and my dog are both outside with the door shut and treats because.
Oh. But you're not really a cat person, but the cat does. So doing the business now, some of the business has become over, I'll call it Zoom, but it's over, the internet and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
How much of your business are you doing where you just are not in physical contact with the person?
I would say 90%. I think,
Wow.
A lot of people don't necessarily want to take the time to, get dressed and go and meet someone somewhere just for a 30-minute conversation.
Right.
Other than showing houses and, the occasional lunch here and there, coffee, it's really all on the phone or Zoom or, just quick phone calls. And I think it's crazy. It's different.
And are you using social media for that, or are you using Hangouts, the Google Hangouts, or are you using cameras, or just the phone?
Yeah, honestly, it's just the phone. I do have Instagram that I update and, have fun little polls on and kind of try and engage with the people that follow me. And it's Audrey the Realtor, if you want to look it up.
Yeah.
Do we have a banner for that?
I don't.
Oh, let's get it. Well, Karen's
I forgot
going
to
to
send it.
instantly build you a banner, by the way.
Okay.
The Realtor.
Yes.
And that's on Instagram.
That's on Instagram, yeah.
Is it dot something?
Well, it'll be the @ sign and then Audrey the Realtor.
And then no spaces.
You can
No
tell I'm an Instagram person. I don't even know how to make it happen.
It's fine.
We're still having to put all this together. This is what's great about the live chats. You're putting it together. It's like building the plane while you're flying the airplane.
Right.
We're building it right now as we're on the fly. And we're also, Karen, going to want to put her phone number. You wanted your phone number up as well.
That's been up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's already been up. And email.
And that's what
Yeah. Email, phone, whatever works.
Reach out to Audrey in any way possible. I'll circulate through those again with her email and her phone number. I do want to circle back to the cat thing, though.
Yes, the cat thing.
Yeah.
I mentioned that Audrey was into the winter sports.
Yes.
So what did you call your cat, Audrey?
Burton.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what the significance of Burton is?
Well, isn't Burton the name of the gentleman who did the Disney movie?
Oh,
Tim Burton. Well,
I do not know.
Burton, but it's a snowboard brand. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
And here I was trying to tie it to Disney because I know Karen's a Disney fan. You're a Disney fan. I'm a Disney fan.
Yeah.
And Burton is it's the skeleton. What's the name of that?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Thank you.
He's the guy that worked on the movie.
Yeah, he worked on the movie.
Anyway,
Yes.
Audrey, is there anything that was a surprise when you came into real estate that you weren't necessarily expecting?
Well, I think I kind of crept in right when all the craziness started. So
Yeah.
interest rates dropped and inventory went, way down. So, it's a difficult time, but it's also a really good time in another way. As long as you can get prospects and have buyers and, a listing is amazing. If you can get a listing right now,
Yeah.
it's a done deal. But as far as buyers go, it's really, you're pretty much outbidding every single other person who is in that price range in the same, 10 houses. So in the area.
Well, this market is equally as difficult as an extreme buyer's market. So if you can survive this market, you can survive an extreme buyer's market. Because right now, there's just nothing out there to sell. I was talking earlier on how the city of Gresham limits right now has 52 things for sale. That's land, condos, townhomes, single family. That's everything all inclusive.
Yeah.
Where it should have like 350. We just don't have any inventory left.
Right.
There's not, when you drill that down to, someone looking for a particular school district, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, there may not even be one.
It goes back to the variety, though, that Audrey was talking about, because as the market changes, you have to keep learning new skills or expanding your repertoire of things that you're good at. And right now we're in a seller's market, but that's going to change. And I know that today or over the last few years, we've been saying, if you survive the 08 part of the market, you're good as gold. I think in a few years we'll be saying, if you survived the COVID market, you're
a fighter.
You're a fighter.
I believe that.
So I agree with you, Audrey. This is a great time to get into the market if you can afford to hold on long enough, and you can get a few sellers as new agents. This is a great time to start in the market. There will be many agents that don't hang on. They have to do something else for personal reasons, or it's no longer fun and interesting. But for those of you that are really interested in this constantly changing market, this is just the beginning of an adventure.
So, Audrey, what are the 2 or 3 things that after you became licensed, you entered the industry? What are the 2 or 3 things that were the biggest surprises? I know you have this in your DNA already, but were there still some surprises for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think with the market change, or when I started, a lot more people are looking for townhomes and condos, like first-time home buyers. So I think I've dealt with a lot more condos and townhomes than I was expecting, just because they're affordable and, it's a good investment. So I think I wasn't expecting that as much, but I mean, I love it. It's great. Let me think.
Have you run against people? I started off the show today talking about some news from Inman concerning the mobile phone, where people show up now at a home and say, there's not enough coverage here. I don't want the home. Have you had that experience?
Yeah, I was actually at one of my friend's open houses the other day, and we were talking to a couple who was there, and they bought a new house down in Sandy, and, there's streets that go way down and off kind of to the boonies, and, they were pretty much just excited to work from home and be able to escape the city and live closer to the mountain. And now they're looking back in Portland because they couldn't get any internet. They didn't have an internet carrier.
Down by the old Tannic Lake?
I don't know, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, there wasn't an internet carrier that would even go out there, and it was not disclosed when it was sold to them. Even though it was definitely known. So they are back looking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
That's incredible.
It is surprising. The Sandy area is pretty poor for that. It's like you're driving down the road, and if you're watching your bars on your phone, they just go up and down and up and down. You'll drop them all just by taking a turn.
You might even have
surprise me.
You might even have better signal up in Welch's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I'm intrigued about is I can't remember if it's Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. I get them confused, but I'm pretty sure it's probably Elon Musk. He's doing the
By the way, Bezos would love the fact that you're confusing him with Musk.
I'm getting my billionaires all confused.
Yeah. And one's a genius.
Yeah. But he's doing the satellite internet.
Yes.
So I think that'll be really interesting that we'll probably be able to get internet from wherever we are because it'll ping off of a satellite rather than.
Right.
Some people have been really, really pleased. And I think it's Star something.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've been very pleased with their service that they've gotten with that.
Mm-hmm.
People are still on a waiting list. But I have heard that if you don't have the right, like southern exposure, I think it's southern, but maybe it's northern, who knows?
Yeah.
It all depends on what side of the hill your house is actually on.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't work. So that is, a really good point that these rural areas are now starting to be serviced by that satellite service. And it is out for our listeners, out in some of the areas in Corbett, Sandy, Estacada. I'm not quite sure how far they've expanded, but that is a really good service to keep in mind. And as agents, it's one of those tricks that you want to provide service for your client. And one of the things is say, hey, why don't you break out your phone and see, do we have cell coverage here? Mm-hmm. It's something that they don't necessarily think about because they're busy looking at, this cute little nook and how pretty this room is and the house has a porch. And then they move in, kind of like this one family, and it's like, oh my God, I can't get a call out to Granny, and it's really important for me to talk to her every day. And all of a sudden they can't work from home, and they have a lot of issues that they didn't think that they were going to have.
Now, I was driving Karen crazy with this as an early adopter. When we moved out to the Corbett area 15 years ago, we came out to this house and I said, the property's wonderful. It's great. I love the farm, but my phone has no coverage.
Yep. Karen probably loved it.
And Karen was loving it.
It was awesome, except for the fact that I had to hear and complain about it. So before we were able to move in, they had to put in a new line so that Rod could actually live at this house.
Which we just had another new line installed. Well, our fourth new line installed because they keep breaking. But this one's in conduit underneath the driveway, so I suspect it's going to last a long time. They put another new one in just before the show today. So very, very, very excited about it. Anyway, Audrey, it is such an honor and a blessing to speak with you. We could go on and on. There's no doubt about it, but I want to thank you. And we are looking forward to you building your business bigger than ever imagined.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us. I have your contact information on the page here. This is Audrey's email address. She's great at getting back to people, whether it's via email, text message, or phone. There's her phone number. It will receive text messages. Thank you very much, Audrey, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
All right. Wow, it's so fun to talk to Audrey. She is on fire for the business, and she has taken on. Now for full disclosure, Audrey does work for Mount Hood Realty, of which the brokerage that we own and manage. But she has taken on some of the most difficult clients, difficult as in a lot of needs, a lot of search criteria, and not difficult people, just difficult as far as finding the right. And she was able to find them the right thing, or in a few cases, sell their home, very niche-based homes. So really something. If you're looking for a wonderful opportunity, she will work hard for you like nobody's business. Okay, pardon me.
So I understand that I got Audrey's phone number typed wrong. So I am going to put up a new phone number for Audrey so that everybody is aware what it is in just a few moments.
This goes right along with our crazy technology day.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's okay.
Well, we were racing because they were putting in that new line today. Well, they put it in last week, but they were connecting it to the pole today, and that's a longer process than I even thought it would be. Nevertheless, we're up and running, and thank you for the correction on that. Sorry. All right, moving on. I want to talk about personal SWOT today. Personal SWOT. That's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The personal SWOT, as an agent, you really need to be thinking about doing this. Now, you don't have to go around and reveal anything to anybody. You can just, put yourself in a closed room, as Karen probably would. And I would be shouting mine to the rooftops and complaining about it. But if you don't want to share it, that's okay. This is what's called a personal SWOT. And that is, you're doing a personal assessment of your strengths in the career and in the industry. And you've got to be honest. Now, it's better if you can have a friend in the industry review this with you for an honest approach. But I'm telling you, if you can't do that, you sit down yourself and you do it. Because some people cannot take the mental beating, and it's not really a beating, by the way, but they can't just take it. So you sit down and you list all your strengths, and you be honest about it. This is not a 10-minute process. This needs to happen over several days, not whole days. It's where you think about it a while and you jot a few things down. You think about it a little longer, you jot a few things down. And then you move on to your weaknesses. And you be honest about your weaknesses. What kind of weaknesses do you actually have in the industry? What areas do you have that need significant growth? This is an important aspect. Businesses have to do this every year to stay on top. If you're a business and trying to be cutting edge and staying on top, you have to do a SWOT analysis. It's how you stay on top. And then you take a look at the opportunities. This is a difficult one because you may not know or see the opportunities that exist that are not being taken, you're not taking advantage of. This is where you may have to reach out to other people. What you're looking for, so the first two, the strengths and weaknesses, are internal to you. So of course you're going to know. It's just being honest about it. The opportunities and threats are external to you, so they're harder to see. So you may need to bring someone in that can help you identify these. What opportunities are out there that you could be taking advantage? For example, maybe you're not going to the chamber meetings. Maybe you're not networking enough. Maybe you're great at doing this one piece of the business, but there's a piece of the business that you're just letting go. Or maybe you're not good at annual follow-ups. And lots of us aren't, by the way. So you sell a home, and the annual follow-up is where you send them a card, or you call them, or you send an email, you do a social media reach out, you touch them and say, hey, a year ago I sold you the home. Here's the current value of your home. Hope you're loving the home. You do that nice fun. And some people drop by things by the door. They do something. This is earning you future business. And if you're dropping that ball, that is an opportunity that still exists for you. The opportunity doesn't go away just because you didn't take advantage of it. It's something you need to recognize. Now, the last piece is threats. This, again, is a difficult thing to recognize as to what could be threatening your business. Are there players moving into your area that you need to be recognizing? Are there pieces of technology that have come in that you really need to start thinking about, which leads us to our next topic, and that is video to get listings. Video came in a few years ago. Now, I love video, but there was a point in time of which I wasn't taking advantage of video at all. I loved it, but I wasn't taking advantage. And Karen said to me, we need to be doing video. Video is where it's at. And I was in technology, I'm an early adopter. But in video, I was not an early adopter. I recognized how wonderful and valuable it was. I just didn't grab onto it thinking that I could do something with it. But the reality is, video is smoking hot, and we're going to talk about video and everything it can be doing for your business. Well, we're going to talk about a lot of the things it can be doing for your business right after this break.
Oh boy, here we go again. I got to find the right. So, Rod, how can a cup of coffee improve my career in real estate?
Well, one cup of coffee is how we start our mornings, and it's not a stranger in real estate. We have coffee with our clients all the time. Even bigger than that, we can sit down with one cup of coffee, talk about your goals, make your business bigger, and push you to heights that you can't even believe.
That's right. And I'll tell you, working for Rod and I, you can be pushed because he's a workhorse.
I love real estate, and I want to share my passion with building your career in real estate as soon as we can pour the next cup of coffee.
So how about a cup of coffee with us?
I look forward to having a cup of coffee with you and having a discussion of a career change as soon as possible.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to be back with the guru, and he's going to be talking about video CMAs.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I am an early adopter when it comes to technology. I love it. But with video, I didn't jump on as early as I could have. But now, of course, I'm doing hundreds of videos a year and loving it and gaining client share and business share through video and just having a blast doing. I mean, I get to do things like interview Audrey, which amazing. Last week we interviewed Patty Waters, an amazing lender in the industry. So getting to just have fun with video. Sometimes people think that you have to be so special to do something in video. At least I did. But the truth is, you know what you need to be? You need to be real, and you need to be you. That's what when I finally got that you need to be just naturally who you are on video. It started to make sense to me that I didn't have to be anything special. I didn't have to be, Tom Cruise or something. Wouldn't that be terrific if I was Tom Cruise? But what I need to be is me, because that comes across so well. And what you need to be is not me. You need to be you on video. So let's talk about video CMAs, which, by the way, is a current article on Inman where they're talking about some of the big ways to grow your business. Now, I've been talking about video CMAs for a few years now and how we're growing our business through video CMAs. And now it's a current. So if you want to see an article about it, Inman has an article. It's one of their top ways for growing your own business. So let's talk about how video CMAs actually work. So we all know how to do a CMA, a current market analysis, a comparative market analysis, excuse me, before someone sends me the comment and tells me you misspoke. I get it. Okay. A comparative market analysis. This is where you're looking up all the homes in comparison to someone wants to sell 123 Main Street or buy 123 Main Street. It could be either way. And they want to know about the worth of it. Well, classically, something we're trained to do in the industry is to do a comparative market analysis, a CMA. Well, we send that out, and we are so happy. We got it. And by the way, we printed it and handed them the report, or we sent it to them by email, and we're so happy. Well, hold on. How happy should we be? How happy are you when someone comes up to you and says, and they're the professional, and they hand you a 60-page report? Because a lot of these CMAs are 40 to 70 pages long. They're huge. And the information in them, if you take time to read it, is amazing. It talks about flood zones and schools and zoning and regulations and all the history of the home. And it talks about the everything going on. But the client really only wants a few pieces of that information. Well, it's all kind of interesting. You're not going to have their attention until you get a few pieces of that information over to them. Here's where you make yourself more relevant in the market than like 98% of the agents out there right now, even though it's growing rapidly. You do is you pull the CMA together, and we'll just say 60 pages. And you're going to send that report to them. And you send the report, but along with it, you send a video, a 3-4 minute video breaking down the main points of the CMA. You're explaining the CMA on video to them. This is you directly. Talk about branding something to yourself. This is huge. So in the Inman article, they talk about a person who did 72 of these, one a day for 72 days. And at the end of 72 days, had $11 million in business. And if the average home was $500,000, they would have had 22 listings. That does not surprise me, by the way. It doesn't surprise me at all that this is happening, because the video becomes highly personal. First of all, you're going to use the client's name. You're pulling together a CMA. You're going to know the owner of the property. You probably are pulling it from your expanded sphere. So maybe they're not one of your hottest, but it's a sphere. You somewhat know this person a little bit. You've touched bases with them a couple of times, but they're not really, you keep thinking they should sell, but you can't get them to move in the market. But now you've pulled together a personal video where you're talking to John Doe by name. You're looking at them through the lens of a camera straight across. You're of course you're going to do the 4 articles of persuasion: attention, interest, desire, call to action. Not going to go over how they all work right now, but we've all heard them many times. If you haven't, you need to jump over and take one of our courses about how to persuade somebody in this industry. It is salesmanship. I know people don't like this. They like to say it's real estate. It's not sales. It is sales. It's just the greatest sales of all time. It's real estate. So, not trying to insult anybody on that, but video CMAs are on fire. Probably the hottest way to build your business today. With our limited inventory, with the limited listings that we have right now, show people how to read the CMA you pulled together, talk to them, get the conversation started. You're not going to finish the conversation. You're going to get the conversation started through a short video summarizing the points. Of course, you're going to have a button down below to set an appointment with you to finish this process, to further explain to them at no obligation. It's always at no obligation, by the way. That's how you set appointments. They're all because they don't have to contact you, first of all. So, and when they do, you're going to make this at no obligation. You're just going to come over and explain it, and you're going to win the listing because you got their attention. You caused interest and desire. And the call to action ultimately was listing their home so they can win during the hottest market we've had in over 30 years. That's how it's done. We are at the beginning of this process right now. We are at the very beginning of something that is so big. You know, we think that the internet, it's been around. It's been around a little while. Internet got started in the 90s, and now, we're 25, 28 years into what is generally known as the internet. We're not very far. We're not even a generation into the internet, much less to say that we haven't had high-speed internet such a short period of time that it's myopic. It's absolutely short. Okay, let me take a drink here.
So, Guru, are you moving on to SWOT analysis, or are you going somewhere else?
Appraisal bias.
Appraisal bias. My
Moving
goodness.
on from the video, I could spend the rest of the time on the video, but I do want to talk real quick about appraisal bias, because this was signed in. I mentioned it last week. It was signed in the White House. The bill was signed, and this did go forward. It is complete now. And we don't know all of exactly how it's being enacted throughout the states yet, but the White House has signed. Now, we know this. There has been appraisal bias because appraisals have not been part of fair housing. Who would have ever thought that appraisals were not part of fair housing? I never would have thought that appraisals weren't part of that. But appraisals in the past were not part of the fair housing rule, and now signed in by the White House. This is something I'm very proud of our current administration for, is adding the appraisal process to the fair housing rules. And now some banks, some lenders had already had internal rules and internal processes that mandated this. But now we have a federal process that is mandating that it is now added to the fair housing process, taking away the bias and getting rid of that. We know that historically and recently in history, there have been biases to some minorities. And that is, to me, a shame and shouldn't be happening. Okay, I want to, one more thing. I'm not even, a third of the way through my stack of stuff here for real estate news. But I want one more thing here before we're out today, and that is interest rates are on the rise. And do you think that it's going to hurt the buying power? Now, typically, interest rates rise and buying power goes down. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Do you think that it's actually going to hurt buying power? Now, let's just go over how it works just real quick. Interest rates go up. The ability of the buyers that are on the edge, they can't afford things any longer. Do you feel like that the interest rates going up are going to hurt the market? We are still in historically low interest rates. Now, we know that for some people that are on the edge, and we're going to pick up with this interest rate conversation next week, because I got stuff, there's no way we can get to it today. But we know people that are on the edge won't be able to afford enough to get into a home with interest rates going up slightly. But when there's 30 offers on a home, how many of those offers were on the edge? That's the question I'm leaving you with today. That's what we're going to take off with next week. I look forward to helping you grow your business bigger than ever before. I would love it if you would follow us on social media and on YouTube. If you will hit the subscribe button so we can help you we can add you to the Guru members only events and help you grow your business bigger than ever before. I look forward to seeing you with the chats, the mountaintop chats next week, next Tuesday at 11 a.m. See you then.